In an age that measures worth in followers, filters, and fleeting impressions, many men quietly wonder whether they are enough. They compare themselves to curated images, exaggerated lifestyles, and loud personalities that dominate the modern stage. Yet beneath the noise of performance and comparison lies a quieter truth. Attractiveness, in its most enduring form, has never been about spectacle. Long before social media, long before tailored branding and viral charisma, ancient thinkers wrestled with the question of what makes a human being compelling. The Stoic philosophers, men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, lived in a world no less turbulent than ours, and yet they arrived at a radically different conclusion about influence, presence, and personal magnetism. For them, the most attractive man was not the loudest or the most ornamented, but the one who mastered himself. Today, that mastery is rare. It is rare because distraction is constant, validation is addictive, and comparison is relentless. Many men who embody strength, composure, and integrity underestimate themselves precisely because they are not obsessed with broadcasting those qualities. They assume that because they are not flamboyant, they are not impressive. Because they are not chasing attention, they are not desirable. But if you recognize yourself in the signs we are about to explore, you may discover that you are far more attractive than you think, not by modern marketing standards, but by timeless principles that have endured for centuries. The first sign is that you remain calm when others lose their composure. In a world engineered to provoke reaction, the ability to respond with steadiness is extraordinary. When plans fall apart, when tensions rise in a room, when conflict begins to simmer, you do not immediately escalate the emotional temperature. Instead, you observe, assess, and choose your response carefully. This calm is not indifference, it is disciplined awareness. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the power we retain over our judgments, even when external events spiral beyond our control. A man who understands this principle does not allow chaos to invade his inner world. Modern life, with its breaking news alerts and social media outrage cycles, rewards impulsive reactions, yet people instinctively gravitate toward the individual who stabilizes the atmosphere rather than destabilizing it further. Your calm presence communicates reliability, and reliability creates a sense of safety. Safety, in turn, forms the foundation of attraction because it signals that you are not ruled by every passing storm. The second sign is that you do not chase validation. This does not mean you are immune to appreciation or that you reject kindness. It means your self-worth is not built upon applause. You do not constantly seek reassurance that you are interesting, attractive, or important. Instead, you derive confidence from alignment with your values. Epictetus taught that when we tie our happiness to what lies outside our control, other people's opinions, shifting trends, public approval, we surrender our freedom. In the modern world, where affirmation is quantified in likes and comments, resisting the urge to perform for approval is quietly powerful. When you enter a room without needing to impress it, you carry yourself differently. Your gestures are unforced, your words unhurried, your laughter unmanufactured. Ironically, the man who does not beg for validation often receives it, because authenticity resonates more deeply than performance ever could. The third sign is that you listen with genuine attention. Many men believe attraction is built by dominating conversations, projecting confidence through constant speech, and filling every silence with witty remarks. Yet the Stoics prized measured speech and thoughtful engagement. Seneca cautioned against speaking merely to be heard and encouraged reflection before response. When you truly listen, without interrupting, without redirecting the focus back to yourself, without mentally rehearsing your reply while the other person speaks, you convey respect. That respect makes people feel seen, and feeling seen is profoundly compelling. In a culture where most interactions are distracted by devices and divided attention, Your focused presence stands out. It suggests emotional intelligence, patience, and self-assurance. You do not need to prove your intelligence through volume because your understanding is revealed in the precision of your responses. The fourth sign is that you exercise control over your desires. Modern marketing thrives on impulse. Every advertisement whispers that you deserve immediate gratification, that restraint is deprivation, that indulgence is empowerment. Yet Stoic philosophy places tremendous value on temperance, the ability to moderate appetite, whether for pleasure, status, or recognition. When you choose discipline over impulse, you demonstrate inner authority. This might manifest in your commitment to physical training, where you show up consistently rather than sporadically. It might appear in your financial habits, where you prioritize stability over flashy spending. It might reveal itself in your relationships, where loyalty outweighs fleeting temptation. Self-control signals that you are not enslaved by momentary urges. That steadiness fosters trust, and trust deepens attraction because it suggests that your decisions are intentional rather than reactive. The fifth sign is that you handle rejection with dignity. Rejection is inevitable in love, career, and ambition, and how a man responds to it reveals more about him than success ever could. If you have experience being turned down, overlooked, or underestimated, and yet resisted the urge to lash out or spiral into bitterness, you have displayed a rare maturity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that external events are neutral until interpreted. The pain of rejection often arises not from the event itself, but from the story we attach to it. When you absorb disappointment without allowing it to corrode your character, you communicate resilience. You show that your identity is not shattered by a single outcome. That resilience is attractive because it indicates emotional stability. Others sense that your presence is not contingent upon constant affirmation, and that security creates a powerful draw. The sixth sign is that you possess a quiet sense of purpose. Purpose does not require public announcement. It requires direction. You are working towards something, even if few people know the full extent of your vision. Whether you are building a career, mastering a craft, strengthening your body, or cultivating wisdom, your actions align with a larger aim. The Stoics believed that living according to virtue constituted the highest purpose and that daily choices should reflect courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. In contemporary life, purpose may take different forms, but its essence remains the same: intentional movement toward meaningful goals. A man with direction radiates focus. He does not drift through conversations or relationships hoping to be entertained. He engages selectively, aware that his time is finite. This sense of direction subtly shapes your posture, your schedule, and your priorities, creating an aura of intention that others find compelling. The seventh sign is that you refrain from gossip and unnecessary criticism. In many social circles, bonding occurs through shared mockery or whispered judgments, yet this habit often reveals insecurity more than strength. Stoicism emphasizes justice and integrity, urging individuals to speak in ways that align with virtue. If you resist the temptation to tear others down for amusement or advantage, you demonstrate confidence in your own standing. You do not need to diminish someone else to elevate yourself. This restraint fosters trust because people sense that you are unlikely to betray them in their absence. Over time, such consistency builds a reputation that transcends superficial charm. While gossip may generate temporary excitement, integrity generates enduring respect, and respect is a cornerstone of meaningful attraction. The eighth sign is that you are comfortable in solitude. Many people fear being alone because solitude confronts them with their unfiltered thoughts. As a result, they seek constant distraction, scrolling, streaming, messaging, to avoid silence. The Stoics, however, viewed solitude as an opportunity for reflection and self-examination. Epictetus argued that dependence on external stimulation breeds fragility, whereas inner contentment cultivates freedom. If you can spend time alone without feeling restless or incomplete, you demonstrate self-sufficiency. This does not mean you reject companionship. Rather, you choose it freely instead of clinging to it desperately. When you enter relationships from a place of wholeness rather than neediness, your presence feels grounded. Others sense that you are with them because you value them, not because you fear being by yourself. That distinction transforms the quality of your connections. The ninth and perhaps most profound sign is that you live by principles even when no one is watching. Integrity is the alignment between belief and action, and it forms the bedrock of enduring attractiveness. Marcus Aurelius wrote personal reflections not for public acclaim, but to remind himself of the standards he aspired to uphold. If you maintain your commitments, honor your word, and adhere to your values regardless of external scrutiny, you cultivate congruence. There is no exhausting split between who you present to the world and who you are in private. This congruence produces a quiet confidence because you are not juggling mass. People may not immediately articulate why they trust or admire you, but they feel the coherence in your behavior. Over time, that consistency distinguishes you from those whose charm evaporates under pressure. Taken together, these 9 signs paint a portrait of attractiveness that diverges sharply from contemporary stereotypes. Modern culture often equates appeal with extravagance, visibility, or dominance. Yet Stoic wisdom suggests that the deepest magnetism arises from character. Calmness in chaos, independence from validation, attentive listening, disciplined desire, dignified resilience, purposeful direction, principled speech, comfort in solitude, and unwavering integrity are not traits that flash brightly for a moment and then fade. They endure, they compound, they mature with time. If you recognize these qualities within yourself, even imperfectly, you may be underestimating the impact you have on others. Because you are not loudly advertising your virtues, you might assume they go unnoticed. Yet human beings are remarkably perceptive when it comes to emotional stability and moral consistency. They may not praise you in dramatic fashion, but they remember how they felt in your presence. Steady, respected, safe, understood. Those impressions linger long after superficial displays lose their novelty. The Stoics never pursued attractiveness as an end goal. They pursued virtue, believing that a well-ordered character constituted the highest good. Ironically, by focusing on self-mastery rather than admiration, they cultivated a presence that naturally commanded respect. In our era of relentless self-promotion, returning to this philosophy offers relief. It suggests that you do not need to become louder, flashier, or more performative to be compelling. Instead, you refine what is already within your control: your judgments, your habits, your responses, your principles. Ultimately, the question is not whether you meet every cultural standard of attractiveness, because those standards shift with fashion and fade with time. The deeper question is whether you are aligned with values that withstand trends. When you strengthen your character, you build a form of appeal that does not depend on perfect lighting or curated images. You become the kind of man whose presence reassures, whose words carry weight, and whose actions speak consistently. That kind of attractiveness does not demand attention. It earns it quietly. So if you have ever doubted yourself because you do not fit the loudest mold, consider the possibility that your restraint is strength, your discipline is distinction, and your integrity is influence. In a restless world, composure is rare. In a performative culture, authenticity is scarce, and rarity, by its very nature, is attractive. If these Stoic principles spark something within you, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and take the next step on your journey toward becoming your strongest, wisest self. Thank you.